Liberia's first transfer of power from a democratically elected president to another in 7 decades took place on January 22, 2018, inaugurating Montserrat County Senator George Manawia as the successor of Africa's first elected female president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. President Weah then mounted the podium, pronouncing that his government will work in the interests of the ordinary.
Together, we owe our citizens clarity on fundamental issues such as the land beneath their feet, freedom of speech, and how national resources and responsibility are going to be shifted from this capital to the county.
The Liberian leader decided to inspect what will be his temporary office. He then stopped at the passport division to get a new official passport in commensuration with his new status as head of state of the Republic of Liberia. President George Manawia later received in audience 13 African diplomats accredited near Monrovia. The ambassadors had come to pay a courtesy call on the Liberian leader at his foreign ministry office. President Weah commended the African diplomats for their visit and thanked them for working with Liberia towards the conduct of peaceful, free and credible democratic elections.
Let me say welcome to this office. I just want to state that you have my further cooperation and the best working relationship while you are here.
Straight to doing the people's work, the president left Liberia for Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to attend the 30th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union, AU. The 30th Ordinary Session marked President Weah's maiden appearance at the gathering of the Continental Body as the new chief executive of Liberia. The Liberian leader focused on the issue of fighting corruption both at home and on the continent. Back home, the president briefed the media on his trip.
I'm very happy. It's a start. We represented our country well, and I made my statement and spoke about fighting corruption against the team, and then I joined my colleagues too. But I think going to Addis Ababa, it was a right decision, even though we know we are engaged here. But the fact that we went there was good.
Though traveling from a distance representing the country, President Weah was set to deliver his first State of the Nation address.
Our economy is broken. Our government is broke. Our currency is in free fall. Inflation is rising. Unemployment is at an unprecedented high, and our foreign reserves are at an all-time low.
Straight into the pro-poor agenda, President George Manawia met with the importers of rice and stepped up efforts to ensure the price of the nation's staple food is substantially reduced and made affordable for ordinary Liberians. With the efforts made by the president, rice importers yielded to his request for a reduction in the price of the nation's staple food. The rice importers announced the reduction in the price of a 25-kilogram bag by $2 United States dollars, while the price of a 50-kilogram bag was reduced by $4 US. On the same day, the World Bank Group provided a $25 million budget support grant to the government and expressed commitment to help fund President George Weah's vision for road connectivity, including a coastal highway. The World Bank Group and the government of Liberia signed the agreement at the home of the president as his office was being prepared.
It is indeed a pleasure for us as the World Bank to be signing this grant for Liberia. The grant amount is 24.7 or about 25 million to support the government in its development activities. As a grant, this will not be repaid. It is for the government to decide on priorities how to utilize these funds.
President George Weah lauded departing unmanned servicemen and women during a colorful send-off program held at the mission's headquarters in Monrovia. The president applauded the outgoing servicemen and women for their sacrifices and bravery in sustaining the peace in Liberia.
I want to express gratitude to the United Nations mission in Liberia for their long-standing support to our peace and stability. Special recognition goes to you, great men and women of the service who left your family to come to Liberia to help keep the peace. The Liberian people will forever remain grateful to you for your bravery and service to our great nation.
The Liberian chief executive went on to meet with a delegation of the Liberia Business Association, the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia, the Pinsville Business Association, and petty traders in the C. Cecil Dennis Auditorium at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Monrovia.
When you listen to my speech, Liberia will not be spectator in their own country. Around, try to get all of the agencies that are responsible for the country to move forward. So I'm here, I'm going to listen to you all, and then together we'll design a plan how we can move forward. Thank you.
Honor Madam Salif's administration, she had instituted a policy relative to the 25% of all government procurement opportunities going to Liberian businesses. However, we would like to not be restricted to a percentage, especially listening to what you said. When you spoke during the inauguration, you did not speak from a point of we gave you 1% or 2%. Instead, you said you people will no longer be spectators. So as good as the 25% is, for which we need to start from, we also would like to see how we can look at other sectors.
Mr. President, if you can see the people on your left here in the right, they are in red because of the state of our country economy. That's how far we are. You understand? That's the meaning of the red, the state of our economy.
With triggering effects from the meeting with the entrepreneurs, President George Weah met with representatives of the Liberia Bankers Association. He encouraged the representatives of the Liberia Bankers Association to develop constructive and mutually agreeable conversation in order to improve the processes that will be accommodating to Liberian businesses. President George Weah met with a delegation of the Health Workers Union of Liberia and commended the health workers for their commitment and sacrifices to the nation and assured them of his continued support aimed at revamping the health sector. President George Weah commissioned Foreign Minister Benzogan Finlay, Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Twe Jr., and the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Nathaniel McGill. The Liberian leader saluted the commissioned officials for their roles and called on them to perform their duties with a sense of commitment in a bid to prove their critics wrong.
Prince George Joseph.
swear
do solemnly swear
I will support,
that I will support,
uphold,
protect,
and defend the Constitution of laws of the Republic of Liberia,
and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Liberia,
bear true faith
bear true faith
and allegiance to the Republic,
and allegiance to the Republic,
and will faithfully, conscientiously, impartially,
and impartially
discharge
discharge
the duties
the duty
and functions of the office of
and function of the office of Chief of Staff
the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Celebrating his first Armed Forces Day as Commander-in-Chief, President George Manneh Weah promised to build Liberia's first military teaching hospital for the use by the Army and other security forces as well as community dwellers. The Liberian leader made the promise when he spoke at the 61st anniversary of Armed Forces Day. He would go on to start fulfilling his promise in about 3 weeks.
Our men and women in arms require medical attention, have to travel outside the barriers to seek medical care in private clinics and hospitals, where they are given no priority. Meanwhile, the families of our military personnel many times are left to languish in private wards with no attention. And so I say to you, members of the armed forces, I want to inform you that I shall seek funds to build a hospital exclusively for the use of the Army and other security forces. This will be the first ever military hospital built in Liberia. It will be equipped with the most modern facilities and will be staffed by highly trained medical personnel. It will also be teaching hospital to train our men and women in arms in all medical disciplines.
The Liberian leader and delegation left the country on Wednesday, February 14, to return on Friday, February 23, 2018. On the first leg, President Weah paid an official visit to Senegal from Wednesday, February 14 to Friday, February 16. The second leg took him to Morocco on a private visit from February 16 to the 20th. President Weah officially visited France February 21 to the 23rd.
Condoléances à leur famille
To be back
également.
where it all started, France. 29 years ago,
Il m'est agréable de
I
revenir
entered this
où tout
great
a commencé
country from
en
Africa
France.
in search of opportunity.
Il y a plusieurs décennies,
I remember that
j'étais
I
en
arrived in
France.
Paris
Je me souviens de mon arrivée à Paris,
at Charles de Gaulle Airport
à
on a
l'aéroport
very
Charles de
cold
Gaulle,
morning
un matin très
on my
froid,
way to Monaco.
alors que je me rendais à Monaco.
All I had in my bag were
Je
3
n'avais
pairs
dans
of
mon
trousers,
sac que 3
3
shorts
shirts, and a
3
pair
maillots.
of football boots,
et une paire de chaussures de foot
and a passport.
et un passeport.
I was lost in a new world with different
J'étais perdu dans
lifestyle
un nouveau
and a
monde.
new language.
President George Manneh Weah convened his cabinet meeting where he reiterated the construction of roads, revamping the health and education sectors, and youth empowerment as top priorities of his pro-poor agenda for the country.
I want to tell you that the recovery of the Liberian economy is the primary priority of my government. As member of the cabinet, you are my principal lieutenants. As such, this is not only your challenge and responsibility, it is your sacred duty to assist me with this task. In so doing, I expect you to put the interests of the Liberian people first and foremost, as servants, leaders, and devise policy and program which will reflect the proper concern of this administration at all times.
President George Manawia received in audience the Canadian ambassador to Liberia, Her Excellency Julie Sholdish. The Canadian envoy was accompanied by Ms. Isabel Menville, the political counselor at the Canadian Embassy accredited to Liberia. The president also received the letters of credence of the new Chinese ambassador accredited to Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador Fu Jizhong. The Liberian leader officially dedicated the 11th Judicial Circuit Court in Tubman-Brevard County, joined by former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. During the dedicatory ceremony, President Weah called on judicial actors to ensure justice is dispensed fairly, irrespective of gender, creed, or status.
Access to justice is a pro-poor priority. Therefore, the judges should at all times protect our poor people because the court is the only true channel for redress in a democratic form of government. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our court should be used to install transparency and accountability.
Liberia's First Lady, Madam Clara M. Weah, flanked by her husband, President Josh M. Weah, launched the Weah for Clean City campaign on Saturday, March 3, 2018 in the Liberian capital, Monrovia. The official launch of the Weah for Clean City campaign took place at the Rallytime Market on UN Drive in central Monrovia.
If you sumo waju, I go push you. Push. Okay, no problem.
We need Nigeria's help to jumpstart our economy You play a major role in bringing peace to Liberia.
President George Weah met aggrieved students of the A.M. Dougherty College of Medicine and Pharmacy of the University of Liberia. The meeting, held in the C. Cecil Dennis Auditorium, focused on concerns from students regarding delays in the payment of their per diems and the lack of transportation to convey them to and from school. Also meeting the Liberian leader was a two-man delegation from the United Nations Office for Special Project Services, UNOPS. The UNOPS delegation paid a courtesy call on the Liberian leader at his foreign ministry office in Monrovia. President Weah noted that his goal is to ensure that the implementation of his pro-poor agenda go as far as the last village in Liberia. He said, "Our approach is to ensure that we connect the country and put in facilities that have never been experienced before." On the same day, President George Weah welcomed the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Madam Amina Mohammed, and commended the United Nations mission in Liberia, UNMIL, for its numerous interventions in fostering and maintaining the peace Liberia now enjoys. The President and the diplomat spoke during a media stakeout in the foyer of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
UNMIL has been with us for almost 15 years and now. Not only has this mission contributed immensely to the restoration of peace and stability in Liberia, it has positively impacted all aspects of our society and our daily lives.
We know that today Liberians enjoy peace, and UNMIL leaves behind a country that has great potential to achieve lasting stability, deepening its democracy and prosperity.
President George Weah assured Liberians of the administration's continued support to press freedom. The Liberian leader spoke when he served as keynote speaker during the turnover ceremony of UNMIL Radio to ECOWAS radio station held at the Pan-African Plaza Annex in Monrovia.
We are honored, Your Excellency, and profoundly grateful for the invaluable services rendered by UNMIL Radio and its dedicated staff to Liberia in educating, informing, and entertaining our people as far back as 2003 when our nation was torn apart by war.
Crossing the road over to the Monrovia City Hall, President Weah said the departure of UNMIL marks a new dawn for Liberia. The country, he said, is at a crossroad of opportunities.
All wars end in peace. No matter how long war lasts, for months, for years, or for decades, it eventually comes to an agreeable end, where conflicts are resolved and peace prevails. We are gathered here today because Liberia's wars have ended. After 15 years of bloody civil conflict, in the aftermath, we have enjoyed 12 unbroken years of peace, thanks mainly to the presence of the United Nations mission in Liberia, commonly known as the UNMIL, who has served as our peacekeeper throughout those years.
Still energetic, the soccer icon, now Liberia's president, met a delegation from Norway at his foreign ministry office. The aim of the visit was to allow the president sign on the World Ball, which is used at the World Ball Tournament to promote peace and development. Jump-starting the fulfillment of promises, President George Weah performed the historic groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a 200-bedroom military teaching hospital at the Edward Binyan Kesely Military Barracks in Shefflin, Margibi County. With high enthusiasm, the Liberian leader conducted a boat ride assessment tour of the Bali Island, which is situated in the middle of the Mesurado River. The Liberian leader dreams to transform Bali Island into the new Monrovia, commencing with the construction of a state-of-the-art international conference center and other standardized structures. The 4,000-seated conference center will be named after the late leader of the Indian independence movement, Mahatma Gandhi, while its construction will be funded by the government of India.
They play good. But people are going to see and be all mall. But you see Abu Dhabi? Yeah.
Money exchangers, petty traders and marketers in the rehab community outside Monrovia lauded President George Weah for fulfilling the promise made to them. President George Weah erected a temporary structure for money exchangers that enables them comfortably and safely conduct their business activities, while a market building is being constructed for petty traders and marketers.
I feel very proud of what he did. Yeah, he did very well for us because other people haven't done the same. They haven't to get in power. They haven't done it for us. We've been under the sun, and he just got into power. He haven't reached, let's say, half year yet, and I've done this for us. So I feel very proud of what he did. I appreciate him to do more for us.
My word to the president is I thank him very much because he has done much for us with the money changer. But it shouldn't stop here. It should continue to go ahead so that our brothers and sisters that are out there may benefit from it.
The thing I have to the market, I don't even know how to express it. It beyond no explanation. The kind of good thing what money doing for us here, because it's not been easy. We've been selling in mud. We've been selling more market. When you read, the market wash down the worms all in the market. And today we see that money building our market. We even know every day of my life one account that happened there for me.
I pray to God at all times. So I say the same to you, the challenges human beings. And we have decided to do so by way of presenting to you a meritorious service award. This award Mr. President, this award says that the Executive Board of the International Communion of Charismatic and Evangelical Bishops and Apostles, ICEBA, take pride in presenting to His Excellency Mr. George Weah this prestigious certificate of the Meritorious Service Award in recognition of an appreciation of efficient resource management, visionary leadership, outstanding performance, and visible contribution to the service of God and humanity.
President George Weah declared open the 2017-2018 National County Meet. The ceremony took place in Bangor County, which occasioned the kickoff taken by the Liberian leader at the Bangor Sports Stadium. Earlier, the president broke a peace amongst the political leaders of Bong County, a move enthusiastically welcomed by citizens of the county.
Work together. May God bless Bong County.
Thank you.